Hey YouTube, this is Pratik Maheshwari. This time I'm not coming out as Dimensionist because my book is now finally out. For those of you who've been following me on YouTube, you should know that the production of my book went over quite a while. It only finished recently on 30th July, and while I was not able to complete it in a way that satisfies all my conditions, I have to say it did turn out pretty well, according to my views at least. The ending was a bit of a hit and miss. Unfortunately, the book was taking far too many pages, and as the debut novel of mine, I could not have it exceed too much. Otherwise, readers would be turned off. There is no real expectation or any kind of drive for people to read a long novel unless they have some kind of backing behind it in terms of reputation and prior achievements. That's at least what I've read. Novels, at least debut novels, should stay below 80,000 words. Mine already exceeded it, and the ending were taken at 20,000 to 40,000 words more. That would have been too much, I think. And so I ended up my novel in a way that did not quite meet the expectations, but I figured it should work out just fine. It's a bit of a low action novel now, losing out a bit in terms of high octane action and adrenaline pumping. But it has a lot of world building. It does have a lot of foreshadowing and building up of relationships and character interactions. So I'm hoping that that will carry it through. There are certain things that I wish I could have done but was not able to manage in that time. But you live and learn, and this is my first novel. Hopefully, I'll be able to complete what I want next time. Moving on, I'd like to take this time to elaborate on the themes of the novel, the characters, the setting, and my expectations for the future of this series. Now, let's begin with the themes. The primary theme of this novel is built on the class divide of society. It has an additional theme of someone seeking to advance their position in society, but that correlates in a long way to the first theme. Now, society as a whole is hierarchical, but it's not quite to the extent we show in this novel, and that's because of a few reasons. In this novel, the division is quite starker. A person's abilities are not quite as close as they are in reality. Quite the opposite. A single person could be up to a million times better in basically every objective way than another person, simply because of the technology that they have availed of and the rights and privileges they have been accorded because of their either lineage or their achievements. This is usually nothing of the influence wealth has, and also, in a certain way, what you're born with. Whether you're born with a normal ability to advance, or you have a certain disability that prevents you from doing that. The class divide in the society is stark, to the point that people have higher rights and privileges and higher tiers of advancement. People of lower tiers can often be killed or just ruined by the actions of those in higher tiers without any problems. And it is accepted in that turn because, technically speaking, the people in the higher tiers are simply worth more. Now, let me explain tiers a bit here. In the setting, and this will be explained in the very first chapter, every person in the world is born with a soul, which is a quantifiable, tangible object in this particular setting. The soul is not static, however, based on technology and quintessence, which is basically the second term that I'm going to be introducing and the equivalent to the magic in the setting. A person can advance themselves from normal human levels to extremely superhuman levels. A normal human can be at most at the level of a peak human in society today. He can advance himself to be as fast as Usain Bolt, as strong as the greatest strongman in the world, stuff like that. However, it is not the case for those in that society. The strongest person in that society would be able to move at a speed approaching the speed of light, think faster than a quantum supercomputer, be able to use abilities that borderline and not go beyond just simple magic. They are simply better, superior in basically all objective ways, and that translates to a higher position in society and a higher worth. A person's worth is determined by the tier of their soul in the society, and that is the major conflict of the first book and the source of the main character's traumas and troubles, and also the hope of their advancement. Now, let's explore the characters a bit. The characters in this book are pretty limited compared to most, at least in terms of number. I'm hoping to develop them well, and I hope I've managed somewhat. They have a backstory, they have a good interaction with other characters, they have meaningful relationships and meaningful reasons behind their actions. But at the same time, I am aware that I am biased because I am the author of this novel, and so I'd like you all to judge for yourself if the characters work out. I would not like to spoil anything, so I will simply say that the primary focus of the characters are on Sia and her friends who are her teammates, and there are shadows of explanations and explorations based on her parents and her family members, like her little brother. Now, let's move on to the setting. The setting is actually made a glossary page just to hint at the larger setting. But in any case, to explain it more, the setting was actually built based on inspirations from a number of things. For one, there was Pathfinder Kingmaker, which was a video game that I was quite interested in when I was first developing this. For another, there were the Curse Gazat videos on YouTube, which helped me plan out exactly how I wanted the sci-fi aspects of the story to work out. The story is set on a kind of Dyson sphere set built around a multi-light year long black hole. And the black hole itself is covered in a way, in a mirror kind of structure that helps provide energy by using the released energy from the black hole's rotation. This energy is used for the functioning of all the automated and non non life form science of the people who live there. Effectively, the functioning of Dyson sphere is built on the power provided by both the black hole and also by other means through other magical means of the society. The setting is huge, but for now we're only limited to a single country, and most probably only within that country a single city, which is itself huge, much bigger than any city in real life, but it's still pretty small, all things considered. Bennu, the country in which this is set, is about the size of Earth. It was created that way to explore the immenseness of this entire setting, to explore exactly what kind of things exist here that would allow a civilization to be as vast and as powerful as the one here. The setting will explore the huge surface of this setting, the Dyson sphere, quite a bit over the next few books. And the main thrust of it will be explored, I think, somewhere around book 4 or 5. Speaking of book 4 and 5, here are my expectations for this series. What I want from this series is primarily to explore the interactions of different civilizations within a specific kind of setting. And beyond that, I want there to be a kind of examination of how it feels to be a test subject, how it feels to be under the purview and under the influence of another civilization that determines exactly what your limits and what your abilities would be. This is the precursor civilization that, well, there are spoilers about existence, so I won't expand more about it. You will still find out a bit about them in the first chapter, and it will be explored more in future books. I hope you all will enjoy this book and hope you all look forward to the future books that I will be providing based on this setting. Thank you for your time, and I hope you all will find my books as enjoyable as I found it to write.